Hello there fellow acolytes of Sega Saturn, welcome to the annual Sega Saturn Awards ceremony of 2019. In this awards ceremony I'm going to present awards for games that I've played this year, and this will include games that I've played for the first time this year. That basically just means that, Mega Man 8 isn't winning all the awards every year. It also helps keep things fresh and interesting for, you and for me. So don't fret about me excluding any particular games, any of your favourites. If it's not included on the list, it's because the first time I played it wasn't this year, or maybe it's not a game I've not actually played yet. Unlike last year, I'm actually condensing the list into just one part instead of two. So instead of being 10 awards, it's going to be 7. I've cut out some of the more negative awards so I can focus on being positive. Also, there hasn't really been any frustrating or disappointing games as such, so I don't really feel like I'm missing anything noteworthy from my list. Every award as well will be a unique choice too, so my 7 awards will be to 7 different games. With all that out of the way, let's get this show on the road. Whilst I tend to get Saturn games that I think I will enjoy, there are some that I get on a little bit of a chance. They look like stuff I might like and they're affordable, so I go for it. As such, there are some games that I go into and don't expect much from. Games like Gale Racer and Siberia surprised me by being fun games when I just expected them to be kind of just okay. Then there's stuff like Bulk Slash, which I didn't expect to like despite, all the good press it has. But then I played it and adored it. What ended up being quite a big and probably the biggest surprise though, was a game that I didn't expect much from at all, mainly due to the immense hate that the game gets almost unanimously. And that game is Doom. I picked up the Japanese version of Doom for, one reason. It's Doom and I like Doom. Having Doom available for the Saturn and not owning it would be just something that would annoy me, to be honest, so I kind of had to buy it sooner or later. Even after owning it, it kind of took me a long time to actually give it a try, due to how much I was expecting it to be a bit of a rough experience. But then I booted it up and, yeah, it's Doom. I mean, it's not really Doom, it's an amalgamation of both Doom 1 and 2. There are some levels removed, some new ones added, and it may run a little bit slower, but for the most part it's absolutely playable, and it's just as fun as Doom always is. The lower frame rate means that ultra-violence difficulty probably isn't on the table, but as long as you can live with that, then you'll probably have a good time. I played it through on the default difficulty, hurt me plenty, and had lots of fun. It's not perfect though. The final episode of Doom 1 can run pretty badly, and Doom 2's level seems to be a little bit hit and miss, but the problems aren't quite enough to mar the overall experience. Doom on the Saturn was definitely my biggest surprise this year. Oh boy, best music was a tough one this year. Devil Summoner, Bulk Slash and KO Flying Squadron 2 in particular had killer soundtracks. However, even they can't stack up against Hisatsu. It's a cowboy samurai game with music to match. Yeah, this is definitely something special. The Saturn had some truly stunning games. People say that the Saturn can't do 3D well, but you look at things like Bulk Slash and it's hard to agree with that statement. Even though it may be harder to do on Saturn hardware, It's still possible to those who put in the effort. That being said though, where the Saturn truly shines is with 2D. Capcom in particular knew how to get the best from the Saturn. Their 2D beat-em-ups look gorgeous and are as slick as hell. Vampire Savior in particular is one game that I played this year that really pushed the hardware in 2D. Other 2D titles also stood out as well. KO's a great game with beautiful animations. But for me though, one game really stands out. Not just for having excellent visuals with great animation, but also having a really delightful art direction that's very reminiscent of 90s cartoons. That game is Super Tempo. Now Super Tempo's weird, and that extends into its art style too. Whether it's the bad guys peeing a river, or crazy robot chickens, the musicians of Bremen, or whatever, it's all beautiful insanity. Every level has its own look, and is always completely over the top. It's sort of like Earthworm Jim in that way, and that's the highest compliment I can give to a game's aesthetics. As such, that's why it wins the best visuals of 2019. Now, this year, the Best Story Award is a little bit of an awkward choice. Older games tend to focus less on story and more on gameplay. The stories in the majority of the games I played this year have bordered on pretty much non-existent, to be honest, barring the adventure titles I've played. Siberia attempted an interesting futuristic plot, but it wasn't conveyed very well and did fall a little flat. Similarly, Toriko starts with a very interesting story and fascinating world, but in the second half it kind of loses its way and flounders a bit, which is a shame because Toriko's a really good game. The one game though that I played this year that kept me intrigued from start to finish is actually a precursor to Toriko, and that's The Mansion of Hidden Souls. Not to be confused with Mansion of Hidden Souls for the 32X, which is a completely different game entirely. Anyway, the plot centres around a mansion filled with butterflies, and these butterflies contain the souls of various people. The elder of the mansion has an ominous premonition that something bad is about to go down. As such, he wants you and some other butterfly dude to go and investigate the other residents of the house and get to the bottom of it. This results in a short but intriguing story as you investigate the mansion. May not take particularly long to finish, but it's definitely a great experience and an interesting story. My most played game of 2019 is unfortunately not a very exciting contest. Most games were one and done affairs that didn't take particularly long. Some took longer than others, and I didn't really spend a long time with any individual Saturn game this year except one, Devil Summoner. Devil Summoner is a first-person JRPG in the Shin Megami Tensei series, and as you would expect from a JRPG, it's a pretty long game. I've put in quite a substantial amount of hours so far, and I don't even think I've scratched the surface of the main game. As a Japanese-only game, the length is, increased somewhat by having to work alongside a translation guide. The guide helps me, by guiding me where I need to go and generally what I have to do, but it only helps to a degree. Now, the game works basically like a demonic version of Pokemon. You need to catch these demons or recruit them for your team. It's not as easy as just getting them inside your balls like with Pokemon. You need to battle with them and negotiate with them and persuade them to join you. Considering everything is in Japanese and each demon has like a random conversation and personality, you kind of have to be lucky to get them on your team. In fact, the easiest way I found to do it was just to grind enemies until you're so strong that the weaker enemies just kind of give up and join you out of fear. I mean, it's a cool mechanic, and I'm sure it's good in like English versions of the series, which I've not played, as a side note. But yeah, it does mean that you do have to grind a lot though in this version because of the language barrier. And the time you invest into this game is just kind of multiplied exponentially just by it not being in English. So yeah, that's why it's definitely my most played title of the year. Hidden gems on the Saturn are not particularly difficult to come by. The console itself arguably is a hidden gem, And even though there are some exclusives to the console that are well known and rightfully praised, such as obviously like the Panzer Dragoon games, Burning Rangers and what have you, many releases on the system are actually pretty obscure. It makes highlighting hidden gems surprisingly tough, because the system's full of great games no one's heard of. There are arcade ports such as Pooly which is weird and obscure and ended up getting ports to the system. It also got a great port of Radmobile, which was under the name of Gale Racer. Both were exclusive to Japan and as such went relatively unnoticed by most people. KO Flying Squadron wasn't exclusive to Japan, but that was also something as well that, kind of flew under the radar. However, my Hidden Gem Award is going to go to Bug Slash. I brought it up a couple of times so far, and with good reason. It's a great game. In essence, it sort of feels like Burning Rangers, but with flying mechs. Wait, don't go. Yeah, it's mechs. I hate those kind of games too. They're sluggish, cumbersome, and just kind of annoying to play. Most of the time though, Bug Slash isn't really like that. It's more of an arcade-like experience. Your mech controls really smoothly and simplistic enough, so you never have to worry about what you're doing. You have a transform button to turn between ground-based and flying. You've got these missiles or a sword which you use in close range, and you can jump. The triggers too make you turn around, so it's all relatively kind of condensed and very arcade-like, so it's not too difficult to get into. The game pits you into levels with varying themes and objectives, which generally finish in a quite cool boss fight. I had this in my library for so long untouched, and I really feared that I wouldn't like it so much, but I booted it up and I did. I liked it a hell of a lot. This game needs more people knowing about it and playing it. It's fantastic.
Sega Saturn, shoot!
So here we are, the game of the year. The best game of 2019. The cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. I've played some great games this year and it's hard to choose. Bug Slash definitely almost got the top spot because I enjoyed it so damn much. Surprisingly too, Gale Racer almost got the top spot as well. Many people slate that game and I adored it. I'm not a racing game fan, but I enjoy Gale Racer more than any other racer on the system. Judge me on that as you will. Anyway, the Saturn game from 2019 that I rate as my top pick is KO Flying Squadron 2. I mean, wow, this game. The original game's a shmup on the Mega CD, which I've not played because I don't like shmups, nor do I own a Mega CD. I went in not knowing what to expect, and this game kind of threw me off guard. It starts out with like evil raccoons doing stuff, and a rabbit girl has to do some heroic stuff to save the day or something. I mean, the story is kind of nonsensical and stupid, but you kind of get the idea that the game is fully aware of that. Kind of like with Super Tempo, it's very Japanese and very fucking weird. The game throws in like new gimmicks, weird bosses, and all sorts to keep you engaged. In essence though, you control the bunny girl and you work your way through the various levels, and you utilise your weapon of choice. You start unarmed and one hit will kill you, but when you pick up a weapon, that will effectively allow you to take a hit of damage. If you get hit, you lose your weapon. Think of it like the rings from Sonic. And with your weapon, you go through killing enemies and platforming through the level. The game has you riding trains, running in hamster wheels, flying through the air, navigating the intestines of a monster, and just being generally Japanese in its bizarreness. It's an absolute delight. It's charming, it's beautiful to look at, has great music, and most importantly, it's a blast to play. Whilst it's one of the pricier titles for the system, it's so damn good I would recommend considering it if you've got the wallet for it. It's my favourite game from this year, and it's also one of my favourite titles on the Saturn. So, there we have it. 7 awards, 7 games. Right, that's your lot. Get out of here. See you next year. Oh, of course, tell me your picks down below in the comments. Bye.